shooting star and the prophet. In the lore of the American Midwest, warpath chieftain Tecumseh, also known as Shooting Star, a Shawnee, was born one of triplets to a mother who had been Cherokee but was abducted and adopted. Tecumseh is believed to have been at Fallen Timbers, and one of his brothers, Sawasikaw, apparently died there. His other brother, known as Tenchawatawa, or the prophet, began to preach among the tribes about 1804. Tecumseh claimed no such direct link between himself and the Great Spirit, but encouraged a movement based on the principle that all lands belong to the Indians communally. He harnessed his brother's superstitions derived from the Indian culture and eloquently advised a broad constituency of natives in the Midwest. The lands of the region belong to all tribes, Tecumseh told them. Tecumseh apparently hated whites, but he is also known to have discouraged his warriors from resorting to torture. Capture by his followers did not inevitably lead to burning at the stake.
He was such a hater of our race that, as he once confessed, the mere presence of a white man made the flesh of his face creep. But he hated cruelty more, and in the bloody events which he spent all his power in bringing about, he could always be trusted to keep the captives from torture and to save the lives of women and children.
According to Howells, not all groups of natives were as accommodating or sympathetic to his cause, however. In a battle enrollment speech to uncooperative Creeks known as the White Sticks, Tecumseh shouted,
"When I go back to my people, I will stamp the ground and the earth will shake."
A short time after that, the New Madrid, Missouri earthquake in February 1812 sent the Creeks running to their teepees, exclaiming, "Tecumseh has got home!" Chimneys in Marietta had fallen to the ground. The Kickapoo occupied territory along the Wabash River in the Indiana Territory formed a core of Tecumseh's Pan-Indian Confederacy that then fought and lost the Battle of Tippecanoe. American soldiers and Native American warriors earlier had come to blows along the banks of the Ketch-Tippecanoe, a river in central Indiana. Following the Treaty of Fort Wayne, an 1809 agreement requiring Indiana tribes to sell 3 million acres of land to the U.S. government, then Governor William Henry Harrison was compelled to lead roughly 1,000 soldiers and militiamen to destroy the Shawnee village, Prophetstown, named for Tecumseh's brother. When Harrison arrived on the evening of November 6, 1811, he was met with a white flag by one of Tenskwatawa's followers, who suggested a ceasefire and that the two leaders, Harrison and Tecumseh, parley before any action was taken. This meeting would ensure delay, as Tecumseh was not at Prophetstown at the time, having gone south to recruit warriors from the 5 civilized tribes. Despite Tecumseh's long-standing pleadings with his brother that any hostilities were premature until a larger, broader confederacy could be completed, The prophet goaded his warriors to fight Harrison with the Great Spirit's absolute blessing. The prophet's followers and believers fought bravely, but were severely beaten. Without the promised blessing, they carried off many of their dead and left Prophetstown abandoned, which Harrison then torched to the ground. The defeat at Tippecanoe prompted Tecumseh to ally his remaining forces with Great Britain during the War of 1812 in the Great Lakes region. He died in battle as a brigadier general. During a British battle at the Moravian town on the Thames in Ontario, Canada, quote, "The greatest American Indian that ever lived was wounded and died," unquote. It is rumored that Colonel Richard M. Johnson of Kentucky, later a vice president of the U.S., was his slayer, but no final confirmation of this fact has been established. Tecumseh's brother, the prophet, outlived him, but the prophet's superstitious hold over his native attendants waned. In the meantime, at Fort Mims, in present-day Alabama, in 1813, the Red Stick Creek overcame a lower creek, those White Sticks, contingent of warriors allied with the white militia, and set off a period of new warfare that divided the Creek settlement. Many Red Stick warriors eventually fled south and joined the Seminole. In 1840, Harrison ran successfully for president with running mate John Tyler, hence the memorable historical slogan, "Tippecanoe and Tyler too." But Harrison also inherited Tecumseh's curse. He and the next 6 U.S. presidents elected in a year ending in 0 died in office. Tecumseh, like some of his near contemporaries, such as Logan, Little Turtle, White Eyes, Red Jacket, and others, has stature to this day as an elegant Indian. Howells's History of the Ohio Indians put it this way, I quote,
He was on the savage lines, a statesman and a patriot. But unlike the wiser and gentler Logan, he never would rise to the wisdom of living in peace with the whites. He was always an Indian. Even at his best, he was a savage, just as the backwoodsman was savage at his worst. Yet his memory remains honored in tradition beyond that of any other Ohio Indian, and his name was given to one of the most heroic Ohio Americans, William Tecumseh Sherman. Such as he was, and such as Logan was, it must be owned that they seem now of a far nobler mold than any white men in early Ohio history.
Unquote. Both Indian leaders were right about their fears in any event. No matter how much their people changed, and no matter how much of land was given, the settlers always came asking for more.